our body stops us when we are doing something that's not in alignment. That can look like incontinence. It can look like infections. It can look like whatever part of our body might be hurting. It can look like PMS. It can look like I have troubles conceiving. It can look like I cannot get over a certain amount of money, or something is just not flowing and feeling good. I cannot get into a relationship that I would like. Even though everything is successful, there is a deeper whisper, and the deeper whisper is guiding us to what is really ours. I call it the soul, heart, and womblet.
You have had such a wild ride, and you have helped so many women transform because of your grace, because of the space that you hold for them, because you've been a ceremonialist and an activator. But at 16, your body gave you a message through urinary incontinence as a teenager. But something later would become a sacred portal for yourself and for the work that you do. What did that moment teach you about power, and yours specifically, and the feminine body?
Yeah, it was a really powerful moment. I was a professional athlete, and I was running in the mountains in the Alps with the whole high school athletic team. So there were all the, muscle sexy boys and all the let's do this kind of personalities. And then I looked and I was wet. And I was like, what is happening? My heart was beating fast. My face was red with shame. And I was like, I guess I peed myself, but how is that possible? And through that, then I went to a urogynecologist, and he said, you have to take pills, do exercises, and if that doesn't help, you'll have to have a surgery at 16.
Oh my God.
And, I was like, this is not exactly what I want to do. And I chose the holistic path. And as you said, it became basically my pelvic floor, which is part of our womb, part of our uterus. That was the first whisper of wisdom, where my body was saying, not this way, not the professional athlete way where you push, where it was also the time that's a piece of like I connected the dots later. It was the year that I got my period, which was a little bit later, but that was exactly the moment where basically my womb started to speak.
Wow. And you got your period later at 16.
Yeah.
Wow.
They actually consider it a gift because that means your menopause will
Be later,
which I didn't know. And that,
wow.
So that was the whole portal of awakening of the feminine, which then led me to travel around the world to womb shamans, to collect any pieces of wisdom.
Because you've been to 70 countries, right?
Over 70 countries.
Wow.
Some for soul-guided purpose, some for womb-connected wisdom, some for work and offerings. So all of the things, yes.
Oh my goodness. So
I hope that responds to.
Yeah, well, you made a wish to experience everything a woman could in her body. And, hours later, you had a full Kundalini awakening. Can you walk us through what that Kundalini awakening felt like, and how has it kind of shifted your work that you do with women?
Yeah. So the pelvic floor incontinence was the first whisper, and that opened me up to the power of the feminine and the power of my body, and that if I listen to my intuition, there is more. And that was the moment where I was standing there on New Year's Eve in Bali. I was open. I was like, okay, universe, okay, goddess, okay, divine, whatever, the sacred intelligence of life is. I want to experience everything that woman can in my body. And only a few hours in, I was starting to activate. And that was a life force. That was an awakening of, some people call it Shakti, some people call it the sacred snake, some people call it just being alive for me, that's what it is. It is being connected to the source of all that is, to the rhythm of the cosmos, of the universe. And it happens to so many people, so many women, and they have no idea what is happening to them.
And do you think that, because there's so much with like being here in Dubai, there's so much around, women's empowerment and empowering women. What's your take on this women's empowerment, and what are you trying to teach in terms of reclaiming their own power, especially coming from their womb? Because I can imagine, in your line of work, you're also meeting a lot of women who have a lot of shame, have a lot of guilt, are powered by kind of the patriarchy. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah. So what the Kundalini awakening or the life awakening gifted me was knowing that I can surrender and the power comes from within. And what I have seen living in a big city, and that can be anywhere, that we are constantly bombarded by, let's say, billboards or messages of, you have to do this, you have to pay that to be something, to be beautiful, to be enough, to look certain way, to have wealth, money. Like there's always this patriarchal rush for more. And unless we unpack it so deep that there is nothing left to that, then we're still victims of that reality. And so my big passion is to support women reclaiming the power they have within, and literally deconstruct the outdated blueprint, because that is the only way to true womb wealth, to true blossoming of our families, our communities, our planet. Because really, the moment a woman remembers, there is nothing more beautiful. For me, that is what gives me this rush of like a chill. That is what I'm here for. I'm here for awakening nature in every woman I meet, and I know that that's what's needed. And I feel, and I have seen it in thousands of women I worked with, that is the deepest desire they also have. Because at our core, at our women's core, no matter if you're more masculine or more feminine, at your core, if you're at your core feminine, then you want to nurture, you want to sustain, you protect. It's natural, because if you have a baby in your womb, you don't have to think about protecting, right? It's our nature. It's within our DNA. So then what happens when a woman awakens to her power? It's massive.
It's huge.
So this is what I want, love. My mission is really.
And I want to get into the depths of your work, because I just find it so fascinating. You talk about guiding high achieving women out of burnout into womb-led leadership. What's the difference between success that is forced, where we're climbing up the ladder, we're doing all the things, we're saying yes to everything? And I feel like even me being here in the last 3 months, I'm like, whew. It's a lot of movement, or success that flows from soul.
So beautiful. I put it on an example of one of my clients. She is a CEO, Lucy. She's a 7-figure over CEO. And she came to me saying, I've tried all the business strategies there are, and I cannot get over a certain income ceiling. And can you help me? Because I feel like you are the one who can help me, and I don't know what else to do. And I was like, yes, it is your energy, it is your womb, and it is the magic that can go from there. So the difference between success that is forced or that is pushed on us, let's say, by how we grew up in a family that wanted us to be something. Like, we really need to examine where our drive and motivation comes from. And the moment we awaken to, wow, there might be something else that I want to open up to, I want to discover, that gives me deeper fulfillment, that gives me more than just the money or the bling bling or the glam. That is the moment where then I can come in and be of support. And usually that happens for women because they experience some kind of, let's say, a physical stop. Because our body stops us when we are doing something that's not in alignment, right? I'm sure I've experienced it in my life and I've seen it.
Oh, totally.
So that is the moment to then go in. And that can look like, I don't know, incontinence. It can look like infections. It can look like whatever part of our body might be hurting. It can look like PMS. It can look like I have troubles conceiving. It can look like I cannot get over a certain amount of money, or something is just not flowing and feeling good. I cannot get into a relationship that I would like. And these are the stories when we...
And you're saying even when everything's successful.
Exactly. Even when your life looks like it's amazing, there is a deeper current that is saying, and potentially whispering, it doesn't have to go to that big, like, awakening of like, you have to stop everything and go on a, I don't know, month-long sabbatical to like fix your life or something. Even though everything is successful, there is a deeper whisper, and the deeper whisper is guiding us to what is really ours. I call it the soul, heart, and womblet, because you can mindset your way through life, but it's still mindsetting.
You're just thinking about it.
You're thinking, and yes,
fully embodied.
You can talk to your body, but unless you go all the way into this amazing body we have and into the womb, because our womb stores the blueprint of why we are here. And it also stores the stories of our grandmothers, our mothers, because we were a little tiny egg in our mother's womb in our grandmother.
Wow. Just thinking about that, it felt like so wow for me.
Take a moment, right?
Yeah, just take a moment and think about that, especially because for me, I've also lost my mom and my grandmother already. So I'm like, ooh, yeah.
And it's a huge lineage. And a lot of women, when they realize all that they're carrying from the lineages before, they can feel overwhelmed with like, I am the one, I have to do this. Oh my gosh, in this way. And I say, when the moment you decide to go in, it's the moment where you can feel and open up to the gifts. Because our womb can become this crystalline, beautiful, alive portal, multi-orgasmic portal. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
So connected, like full body orgasms that literally every woman can experience. So it is full body aliveness, full body orgasmicness, full body like pleasure and purpose,
and coming from your own spirit,
right?
Not channeled because of some external source, not because you're chasing, but it's coming because it's coming from you. And so, well, I mean, listen, so many of us have been taught to override the body, especially high performance, this culture that we have where we're constantly like needing to do more and more and more and adding more and more into the plate. How can we start to come back to the womb? Like, everyone's probably watching this either on YouTube or listening to this, and they're like, okay, she's totally talking about my life right now. How can we actually give reverence to our womb? Because oftentimes we don't think of our womb except for when we're thinking about conceiving. And then we start to see all of the layers start to peel away of perhaps the infertility, or the fact that I can't conceive, or the fact that sex isn't enjoyable, or the fact that I'm stuck either in relationship, singlehood, motherhood, purpose. How can we start cultivating that sense of coming back?
Any of you who are watching are in any of those, it's the best time to start. And even if you're not, it is also the best time to start. And the most simple way is literally wake up in the morning, you like place your hands on your womb and you listen. And a lot of us are also taught to breathe basically kind of here. And then
From
we
the head.
move the breath into the heart, because then we're taught to, okay, drop into your heart, do your business from your heart. And then we kind of start to overgive, or it's our natural thing also for women to keep giving, ta-da-da.
The people pleasing.
The people pleasing, yes. And then the moment we drop into our womb and our yoni, which is the sacred Sanskrit term, for vagina, then we realize, whoa, there is maybe some power that is hidden that I don't even know what to do with, and I might be scared of. And that's what I have seen working with so many women and myself, that we are often scared of our own power because we haven't received the initiatory wisdom from our lineages, from our mothers and grandmothers. It's something that if we have cultivated, then it would be like our nature. And if you look at the tribes and the cultures that still live connected to the earth a little bit more than we do, it's part of their life. And somewhere along the way, it happened that we got disconnected, that this whole modern world just flipped over and we forgot who we are. And it's up to us really to remember. And for me, it is not just like, hey, go woman and be like full feminine and be the goddess and just go like
And flowy dresses.
And it's all beautiful, but the deeper embodiment is when we understand and use our own power and also share it with our partners, with our communities, because we want the men to be involved as well. And that is where the magic happens. The moment I started, for example, to share with my partner the different parts of my cycle, like, hey, I'm ovulating right now. And he started to notice, I told him like what I want to eat, how I work out, how he can work with me. And our relationship like completely shifted, right? But it's because I have learned it for myself and I have owned it. So then when I give it to him, he can support me, and men want to support us. So it's not about we have to be like feminine and everything has to be about women. For me, it is about this incredible harmony of men and women coming together and really truly being in each strengths, what it is that our strength is.
And oftentimes when you're allowing yourself to lean into a man's container, you often feel way more supported and you feel way more held. But because of, it seems like our own past traumas or our trauma responses where we needed to have that, masculine lead in ourselves all the time, we lead from up here in our head and in probably not so much our heart, unless we are reminded of it. But what you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is when it's coming from our solar plexus, would that be our solar plexus area?
It would be more
of
deeper.
Your root chakra.
Root chakra and the womb, literally the uterus, meaning like the solar plexus is where the belly button is. So if you go like 3 fingers down, usually if you've been pregnant, you put your hands on the belly. And it's such a natural thing for us when you start doing it. Like you can put your hands as a triangle facing down and you place them on your womb.
And are you thinking
on
of
the
these
lower belly
intentions that you are sharing if someone wants to begin to start really talking to their womb and having these honorings for their womb? What is a practice that we can start to do?
It is simply saying, hey, I am here and I'm listening. And for a while, you might not hear anything. And that was me at the beginning. And I've had thousands of women again in online programs and workshops. And there is a moment where it seems like nothing is happening because we haven't listened for so many years. Right? For me, 16 kind of started the moment I started to listen, but still I was so young and naive and I didn't have any guidance. I had to figure it out. But now, luckily, we can just come together and we are here. So what you can do is simply take the breath all the way, as if you were breathing into your feet. That's how far you take it. You take the breath all the way as if you were breathing into the core, into the crystalline core of the earth. And then your body starts to respond because you're rebuilding the pathway and you're rebuilding the trust in yourself. But most importantly, you're rebuilding the your body's trust to you.
Oh, so good. Well, and I want to kind of double click a little bit on what you started because, for so many of us, there's research out there that, PCOS is huge now for women. I don't know how many women in their lifetime will experience some form of that with these endocrine disruptors and all the toxins in our environment. And of course, probably the overworking doesn't help and all of that, but also the infertility now. We're having way more women who cannot conceive when they want to conceive. And they don't think about their womb and their womb health until they're about to have children, think about having children, or a lot of the women on the show, they're having children later, like after 40, or they're realizing that maybe that's when they want to have children, but they're finding that they cannot for whatever reason. Can we unpack that? Because I know, as I was researching about you, we found so many amazing stories of you helping women unearth and rewild. What does rewilding mean, number one? And two, if someone's been given this diagnosis, can you support them in coming back to themselves to actually conceive? And what does that look like?
Thanks. The first truth bomb I'm going to drop with this is currently birthing is a business. Giving birth is a business, hospitals are business, and it's all done to tick off another baby and get paid for it. So the first awakening starts with, whoa, the system is created to make money on us. How do I claim it, take my own wisdom and power back? So whatever, and this is not to say that our medical system is bad. This is to say, let's first connect to our own body and then choose from there what it is that we want. And so, you might go, and this is an example of one of my clients, Allison. She is an incredible woman in her 40s who wanted to conceive, and she has done everything possible in the medical way. She's done IVFs and nothing worked.
Oh, wow.
And she's her position at that time was, I believe, like a financial executive in London. So she's living in a city. And when she came to me, it was literally after a few months of reconnecting to her womb, rewilding, meaning connecting her to her own wisdom. This, again, doesn't mean you have to go and run naked and barefoot, even though it's an incredible practice. You'll probably find me like naked on Ibiza beaches, if most of the time, if I have extra space. And that helps right away. It is actually, research is done on when you place your feet on the ground, you bring aliveness, like your whole body starts to recalibrate. So just that simple thing can make huge difference. But then after really a few months, she came alive, and her womb came alive because she looked at the stories she carries in her womb. She released them. We did ritual ceremonies. We did energetic healing and work. And then through that, then she conceived.
Oh,
and now
wow.
she's a beautiful mama of like this sweet baby boy. And not only that, but through that journey, she
Even
realized,
after IVF.
yes.
Wow.
And through that journey, she realized, well, I want to be more connected to nature. And she bought incredible land in Costa Rica. So now she's between London and Costa Rica. And so your whole life starts to shift. And I feel like with every baby, your whole life starts to shift. Like you're
Absolutely.
totally reborn. It's a constant
Absolutely.
rebirth. But this is just a simple thing that it really, people in cities, I feel, or in general, are looking for a quick fix, for a magic pill, for something that
Super fast.
super fast, that will help them, and that it has to like look glam and this and that. But the most important is like feeling into resonance and deeper discernment, and then deciding from there. And the first moment that happens is when you wake up and you breathe into your body and you listen. And that does not have to be sitting in a meditation, because that, again, is a practice that was developed by men.
Men for men.
For men.
For the monks.
For the monks. And meditation practice is beautiful. It does strengthens our nervous system, and it has incredible benefits. But when we work on our feminine, it's important to get into the movement, into the connection, into the sensuality of it all.
And are you, because what I really want to double click on, and I think you shared something so profound, you are helping this woman take her power back and listening to her own wisdom. And I think a lot of times when we are on that journey of trying to conceive, thinking about motherhood, we start reading all of the books, we start asking all of the questions, which, by the way, are so great. I was in that journey as well. But sometimes we forget our own innate wisdom. Yeah. And we forget our own power. And then we start to give our power to the doctors who say that we can't for whatever reason, or that we have to take this medicine or this thing or do this procedure. And what you're saying is, just speak to me and I'll get you connected back to your own center, because that's what's missing.
Yeah. It's literally simply, you don't even have to speak to me, just speak to your womb. I definitely can guide and help. And it is important to do this work in circles, in reflection, because we're not meant to do this alone. Yeah. And again, going back to, I feel like I carry the blueprint of I chose the holistic path. I had a moment when I was 16 when I said no to the doctors, no to the surgery, for whatever reason, from the soul. It's like a soul gift. Yeah. And that is the trust that I hold for every woman, that she can do that as well. And that is the magic that is waiting. And I love using the word magic, because I feel like our world forgot the true magic. And there's something I spoke also. I said that we have this wisdom was meant to be passed from generation to generation, from grandmothers to mothers to daughters. And I feel like it is such an honor, a gift for me to be able to hold this wisdom through my own embodiment and experience, and be the one who passes it on in the traditional way, not in a way of like, you have to read something, but in a visceral way.
And I think so many of us type A women, we forget what it feels like to be held by other women. And I've seen some of your, photos on Instagram and some of your pictures from your retreats, and just the way in your essence is how you are able to hold such powerful women, but allow them to soften finally. Because perhaps they've not been given permission to soften, to say that you don't have to be this way. And I think so often, when we're up against either the patriarchy or so many things to do, or perhaps maybe a lack of trust, we lose sight of our own internal essence. Do you feel like we're moving to a point where, the soft power is starting to take more notoriety?
I love that term, soft power. And
I think it's sexy.
it is so good. It is so good because it does come from the embodiment. It doesn't come from forcing. It comes from play.
Comes from play.
It comes from
Is that the
play.
true feminine essence?
I would say play, pleasure, and there is also the part of the feminine that's very like ruthless and raw, and that's something
Like
to
the
explore.
Shakti, right?
More the like Shakti is literally it's our life force. So how we use that life force is up to us, and we can use it to create, to be the creatrix of our life, which I invite all the women here to really step into that deeper, and also to destroy. And that is an important part of our life because in our cycle, in our menstrual cycle, we die to ourselves every bleed. So every bleed, there's
rebirth.
something that is being destroyed, that is dying to literally be rebirthed, as you just said. And so the destruction and the creation together make a whole. So for a woman to come into her true soft power is important for her to remember that the raw, like fire burning, is as needed as the sweet, creative, loving, and kind. And when they merge, and something incredible happens, and a woman feels whole.
Yeah. How can we give that back to ourselves when we are so rushing towards the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing?
This is such a incredible question, especially now I have so much experience. Now I used to live in different like nature lush places such as Bali or Ibiza, or traveled around the world, Portugal. And now here in Dubai, it really is like everyone is on a tight schedule of like, it has to happen at this time. And a lot of women are like, oh yeah, I would like to do this, but I'll do like, I'm so busy.
I'm so busy. It's true you are, but we have to carve it.
I really would love like to listen to my womb, but really like let me just go to another cocktail party and da da da. So it is to be truthful to ourselves, what it is that we want, and something that I cannot stress like strong enough to listen before we have to. Listen before you have to.
Before it seems like the universe kind of forces you to slow down, or
before the universe slaps you so hard. I've experienced that, you know.
It's interesting. I've had a few friends this season, you know, just in the past year, either they broke their leg or they had an accident. And it was kind of this spiritual metaphor for slowing down, for pausing. And, you know, they both came into a much deeper spiritual journey that they were on. But it was like, wow, universe, you had to give me this. Literally a few different, you know, friends that I am close to that had these injuries that literally forced them to, you know, take a pause for a little bit. And, you know, is there a way that we can reclaim our womb daily? That takes 5 minutes? Is it just speaking to her? Is it setting up an altar? Is it, you know, womb breath work? What is that one ritual that you love that you're like, all right, everyone can do this? Because I know you also have a master class that teaches us how to do this.
So my the most favorite thing is to connect to the womb daily in the way that I described, and listen to the differences in the cycle, because you're not, and we as women are not the same each day. And so 5 minutes a day of really tuning in, breathing, You can call it womb breath work. You can call it just connection, whisper. Really, it has so many names, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be fluffy or anything. It's literally simply a breath that goes all the way, that there is touch. It has to have the three elements of breath, touch, and gentle movement.
Ooh, okay, dancing.
And that is a little bit of like moving the hips, or that can be in bed, it doesn't have to be a full
We're doing it right now. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go.
But that is really the baseline. And then if you want to take it into a full dance in the morning, or if you want to take it into a deep womb breathing practice and manifestation practice, that is all extra. That is important when you want to dive deeper, but it is not essential, because the baseline is whatever it is that I am doing daily. For a tiny bit of time, it just accumulates, and then suddenly you blink, with the blink of an eye, you'll be in a world where suddenly there is more spaciousness to do all of these practices. And maybe you want to go deeper, and then you'll come and hang out with me on Instagram, or go into the deeper masterclass or any of the programs. But the most important thing that you can start today without anything or anyone, simply with your breath and your touch.
Well, and I think it's so powerful, because when we get into sensuality and when we get into pleasure, and one of our friends that have been on the podcast calls it pleasure stacking. We'll link her episode in the show notes. And Sheila Kelly, who kind of was the founder of S Factor, she also kind of teaches us to kind of allow movement to allow us to really get into our kind of soft power, but to remember that we are pleasurable creatures just like animals. And what I'm hearing from you is, and you do this with such a soft grace, but, we have forgotten. And what I'm hearing from you is to even set a timer of 5 minutes a day, even if it's doing hip circles 10 times one way and hip circles 10 times, because they feel like it's got to be these low-hanging fruit for us to be able to set it as an example for us.
And this can be done in any setting, meaning you can be driving your kids to work, and you can be breathing into your womb and connecting to your yoni and feeling the pleasure. You can be waiting or sitting at a dinner table, and suddenly you can connect and again breathe. And then you're like, "Ooh, I feel alive. I feel something." So this is what creates a difference. And I say morning because it's the easiest, because it's when our whole system is still open, and
it's helping you regulate your nervous system as well before you start and power your day.
Absolutely. And before you turn on your phone, or before your kids jump on you.
Yes, turn yourself on before your kids jump on you in the morning, for sure. Because then it gives you the aliveness in the body. There was a season where I had a playlist, and I have my rage playlist, because I talk about, allowing and emoting.
Yes, the distraction part.
And releasing your emotion and your energies. But also, there's a season of time where my kids were just so dysregulated in the mornings because they were waking up so early. And so we have this fun playlist. And we're doing a dance party in the morning. It's 2 songs, but perhaps maybe before you do the dance party with your kids, you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's going to give you that aliveness. And I love that, Eliska, that you're, sharing this. Can you tell us, before we get into our Spill the Chai round, because it's going to be fast. So before we get into the Spill the Chai round, and tell us a little bit more about your womb wisdom class to help us get more embodied into our sacred feminine.
It is an incredible video series that I recorded for women to get the essential of what we need to know to really start the womb journey deeper. And it is all free. It's on my website.
Amazing. So it's Eliska Vaea?
Yeah. EliskaVaea.com.
Perfect.
And
We'll put
there's
it in the
free
show notes.
resources. Yeah, free resources, and you can hop on there, and that really brings it home to the womb.
And you
to
have
the
some
pleasure.
meditations and activations as well for us.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're the type of a woman that loves to, bring in the headphones and listen and go deeper in that way, that is also available there. And I love it because for me, the womb is connected to our voice. And that's something that opened up for me as a spiritual channel, is the frequencies of sound and the healing of sound. And so I bring that into my work as well. And that's what you can receive through the activation.
It's so powerful because I have been taking voice lessons here for the last 3 months. And literally, my voice coach said to me yesterday, she's like, you are just using your chest voice. I need you to drop into your belly, your diaphragm, open it up. She's like, I cannot believe that you have only been using your chest and your mid voice. And she had asked me, she said, does your jaw feel really tight? And I'm like, well, I used to be a dentist. I mean, maybe it does when I'm talking a lot. She's like, it's because you're not coming from your womb. And so I can attest to that 100%. Literally, when she was doing these diaphragmatic breathing exercises like the breath of fire, but now it's for voice lessons, and my voice was projecting higher tones and lower tones because of that. And I'm just thinking about, because we're activating, it's deeper than the solar plexus. It's probably in between.
The hips.
It's the hips.
The hips don't lie, and that is the pelvic floor I was talking about at the beginning. And it really, what is amazing, you have done so much work, and now you're going even into deeper layers. So womb wisdom and womb work is not something that we check off the list. It is a way of being.
Yeah.
And I call it, you said the term soft power, and I would add to it surrendered leadership, which adds the level of what I really want to see on earth, which is women really being empowered and living the womb wealth in so many different ways, leading movements and leading their companies, their families. We really are born leaders. And when we take that magic and the power back, incredible things happen. And first it starts with you, and then it ripples into your family, into your community, into this whole planet.
In your full ecosystem. All right, so here we are, spill the chai round. So you can answer this as fast as you can, and whatever comes up first. Womb wisdom in one word. Go.
Empowerment.
A ritual you never skip.
Breathing.
One word that describes this season.
Oh, the humbleness. Humbleness, yes.
What are you currently braving?
Listening to my soul even deeper than I have ever done, and speaking up.
Success without soul is
lame.
Eliska Vaea, thank you so much for your wisdom and literally sharing everything that you have been through, the journey that you've been on, the fact that you've walked, 70 different countries, and you've been with shamans and different leaders around the world to now really give us a place that we can essentially go home to, and home to the work that you're doing, the alchemization that you're doing, and, really helping women step more into their sacred feminine leadership. I think it's such powerful work, and giving women permission that they don't need to lean into all of the masculine. They can actually be that surrendered leadership that you talk of.
Thank you so much, Neeta, and thank you to all the women, queens, goddesses who are listening.
Until next time. The Brave Table.
I've got so much more in store for you. So if you are really ready to dive in and keep owning your emotions like the boss that you are, click right here. Go ahead, don't be shy. I'll see you in the next one. Keep shining.